OG Lee in the house once again, once again. Thank goodness, thank goodness. So yesterday, Wednesday, um, Amber Geiger was sentenced, and she got 10 years. She was looking at 5 to 99, and she got 10. So she got off kind of light because she got way down on the end of the scale, just 10 years. And most people think she'll only have to bring about maybe 5 of that to the door. So that's not necessarily bad for a murder. I know in prison, anyone who has, as we say, caught a body and only has to do 5 years, boy, he considers himself lucky, and he's walking around the jail or the prison talking shit. But anyway, the jury in this case is who sentenced Amber. And the jury was predominantly black. The judge was black. I even saw a black bailiff, saw a black court reporter. So if anyone, in terms of if you know making it racial, if black people are upset, we need to be upset with ourselves. I mean, take a look at the bailiff. This was the day that Amber got convicted. This is the bailiff's reaction. Huh? So here's a black person, and yeah, I'm expecting her to be partial. Of course, that's the way our society is. So here's a black person. When Amber gets convicted, that's her reaction. And so, it makes me think, wow. So we have to really be thinking, who is it that did this to Amber? That gave her the justice or injustice as we see it? It was black people. And I think that we really need to look at that, because we look at systems and don't look at what is really driving the system. Let me give you an idea. In general, when white cops kill black people in the line of duty, they usually get off. Now, when these cases go to trial, they're tried, just like in this case, by a jury of our peers. So when the jury exonerates the white cops, we can't blame the police. We have to blame the jurors who are part of our society for exonerating them. That's the deal, the way I see it, because they are the ones who are directly responsible for letting the police go when they can make a statement, right? Let me mention this also, because we have a president right now who is one of the first presidents who has been very vocal about fake news, about the news media being fake. And I heard him last night talk about some of the news media being professional, but he called other news media outlets fake news. And to an extent, I think he's absolutely correct. And here's why. And I think we black people need to be more persistent when we look at these kind of things in terms of getting answers. So when this thing happened a year ago or so, as soon as it happened, and I learned about it and learned about the circumstances, I asked myself, I said, well, she went into the wrong apartment. And it was an apartment complex. So the first question I asked was, how long had she lived there? How long had she lived there? And I searched far and wide and asked, and people who followed me, they know I kept asking that question, and I'm still asking it. How long did Amber Geiger live in that apartment complex? And I couldn't find an answer anywhere. So now I'm asking, wouldn't a journalist ask that question just about one of his or her first questions? So the fact that I didn't see it anywhere, I thought, what journalist worth their salt would not pursue that question? But since I didn't see it anywhere, I said, well, either one news media outlet prints this information and everyone else just basically has the same information and they just paraphrase, or there's collusion in the media. And since they knew that this case was going to be tried in the court of public opinion, they colluded to keep this information away from the public. Because how could not a simple question like that be nowhere to be found? And I'm thinking that at some point, because the jurors are no longer sequestered, right? So at some point, that information is going to come out. And I think that it's really going to make some people say, you mean to tell me that the girls lived in that apartment complex for 2 years, yet she still managed somehow to go to the wrong apartment? Obviously, this is going to be in hindsight, and there's nothing that anyone is going to be able to do, but it's going to be a case of asking, is the media not about fake news? Because again, how can all of these media outlets report on a story and not report on the essential question? How long did the girl live there? How long has this girl lived here? That's my first question, because if that question gets answered, that she has lived there 6 months, a year, 2 years, it makes the story unbelievable, because anyone in their right mind would say, wait a minute now, after living in a place that long, you have forgot the route that you take to get to your apartment? It makes the story unbelievable. So therefore, the fact that no one has answered that question, it just makes me scratch my head. You know, and so they on the stand yesterday, and she is sentenced, and she gets these 10 years, and the brother is on the stand, and this is what he does.
I forgive you, love you just like anyone else. I'm not gonna say I hope you rot and die just like my brother did, but personally want the best for you. I don't even want you to go to jail. I want the best for you. Again, I love you, and I don't wish anything bad on you. Can I give her a hug, please?
And so the judge, apparently, she thought about it and said, well, shoot, I ain't never had this request before. So she hesitated. So he came back.
Please.
So finally the judge said,
yes.
they have this big, kumbaya in the middle of the court. And ultimately, look at the judge. This is unheard of. The judge embracing, hugging the defendant, even in terms of hugging the plaintiff, it's just unheard of. We got one big love fest here in the middle of the courtroom. Everybody's down with the kumbaya. And so it makes me wonder, because a lot of black people were like, are these people crazy? Freaking wanting to give someone who killed his brother a hug? Are you kidding me? They understand Christianity, but most people, as you can see by them being upset by what he did, black people especially, that they're not really Christians, because he did what the Christian person would do, right? But if so many people are angered by it, that means that they really are not down with Christianity. And that's, usually my take on it. When I see people talking about it, when it comes to their behaviors and their actions, what you see, they really are not Christian-like. And I think that his mother is probably Christian in her beliefs, but she's very upset with this white woman for killing her son. And so the mother, you look at the mother. Boy, you just wait till I get your ass home in here acting a goddamn fool. That's what that looked like to me. Come on, you just wait till I get your ass home. But anyway, I don't blame her, because I would not have any love for her on that day. And as a matter of fact, I would be upset with the jury, who is by and large black even, for just giving her 10 years when they had another 89 to go. She faced 5 to 99. Why would you let her off that easy? She killed someone. Her mother got up on the stand. And I felt for her mother, because her mother looked a little bit frail. She's an older woman. I've seen people locked down and someone very important dies and they cannot go to the funeral. Man, that tears you up. In prison, if you want to go to a funeral, you have to have a security detail to escort you there and back. And it's usually at least 2 police officers. And that has to be paid for. And so what the jail or the prison does, really to kind of just blow you out of the water, is they ask you want to escort, you have to pay for it. Now, most prisoners are indigent, right? So they can't pay for it, so boom, there goes that, right? Now, in Amber's case, she could probably, if that would happen to her mom, God forbid, or anybody in her family, she would have to, and they don't let you go for just anybody. It usually has to be someone real direct, like your mom or dad or sister, brother or something like that. She could probably get some of the police officers that she knows to be escorts. And so in that case, she could probably get to go. But in general, most people can't, they don't get to go. And so it is very, very disheartening and very hurtful for them going through incarceration and someone dying and you can't be there in for that, what you call closure. Again, God forbid anything like that should happen. I just thought I would mention that because it could be that the jury took that into consideration in sentencing Amber. Anyway, she may appeal the case. If I were her, I wouldn't, because I'd leave well enough alone. You got off scot-free for killing someone. But yeah, this was just one of those cases where I don't know that black people won, because she got convicted. And first they had her for manslaughter. She would have probably only done 18 months if they convicted her on that. But if you remember the prosecutor, Mushmouth, she insisted, that they charge Amber with first-degree murder, and I'm glad she did, because look at how much time she got. Just 10 years, which she'll only do probably 5. And by the way, a lot of people are saying that this is changing the way that things are handled, perhaps will hold the police more accountable, blah. I say that it doesn't, in that this was an off-duty police officer. Had she been on duty, I think it would have been hands down that she doesn't even get charged, perhaps. So that's a horse of a different color when people start saying that. So to hold police accountable, first of all, it has to be the juries that do it, right? And it has to be police officers who are on duty. So we'll just have to wait and see how that develops in our society. But anyway, I used to know a family, and they spoiled the heck out of their girl, their baby girl, as she was coming up. And people used to say, you know what? They let that girl get away with murder. In this case, the state of Texas and a predominantly black jury, mind you, let Amber Geiger get away with murder. That's how I see it. This is OG Lee, and I'll see you again soon.